What's up there, Fluffamundos? Lewd and the Vicious Lurks here, and I'm going to talk about how I failed miserably at becoming a naughty furry. Wait, you, Lurks, becoming a naughty furry? You're like the most safe for work furry out there, aren't you? Well, it's true that this is literally the most suggestive piece of artwork I own. Yeah, underwear, that's it. But aren't you asexual? Well, I'm asexual spectrum, technically demisexual. It just means that I need to get to know somebody a little bit first. Doesn't mean that I'm not interested in anything, so yes and no on that one. And every once in a while, I get this crazy notion that I might not want to be a 30-plus-year-old virgin anymore. The fraction of the male population who are virgins at my age is pretty tiny. If nothing else, I'd just like to try it out once. So what did I do in furtherance of this goal? Well, I joined my local naughty AD chat, and it didn't go so well. Now, I'd been kind of an off and on part of my semi-local furry community. I'd been off of their chats for a while on Telegram. I decided to join back up on the main chat, and on a whim, I was like, hey, throw me into the AD chat too, and let me see what happens. So I started things out slow and introduced myself, and eventually we started having a conversation about what my preferences were in terms of naughty bits and things like that. That immediately eliminated about 90% of my possibilities, but I did get one person who was interested. Now, a little bit of a red flag right from the start. This person had never seen what I actually looked like before they expressed interest. After some more conversation, I kind of started to figure out that they were maybe a little bit of a V-card collector who liked to take people's V-cards for bragging rights. Physically, I wasn't really into this person anyway, so nothing ever happened. I ended up having one more DM conversation with another person like a month later, but that didn't work out either. Now, being an adult chat, there were of course lots of pictures being shared of sausages and donuts and shellfish and things of that nature. Some of which I was interested in and some of which I wasn't. Now, there were also a lot of people, I wouldn't say bragging, but sharing their adult exploits. Some of them were having quite a few adult exploits. My contribution to the chat started to get more and more negative. A lot of my replies were like, how do you do this? How is this possible? Why can't I do this? Somebody explain this to me. I was starting to come off, admittedly, as a little bit whiny. So the other night I was active in the chat and somebody jokingly suggested that we should figure out who has the largest sausage in the chat. And he said, well, I probably have one of the larger sausages, but mine wouldn't count because I'm always the donut in the relationship. And I responded, well, mine could be the control group because it's absolutely totally average in size, but I'd be eliminated because I never get to use it on anyone. And I guess that was the last straw, and one of the admins very lightly scolded me for being negative. It was nothing big, nothing that would cause somebody to leave a group, but I'd already been considering leaving the group before that, because it was obvious it was not going to lead anywhere for me. And it was just becoming frustrating, and I knew I was starting to sound a little whiny, and at worst, maybe I was even starting to sound like one of those people who identify as a computer processor. Oh wait, that's Intel. So I took the hint and I was like, yeah, this is probably a good time for me to show myself the door. And I left the chat. I ended up later in the evening dropping off the non-AD chat also. Long story, but I kind of feel like I've never really fit in with this group. Now, that is not to say anything negative about any individual, if you know which group I'm talking about. They're all wonderful people. They've done some great stuff for the furry community. They've got fur meets going again. They've got a convention even happening in my local, semi-local area. All great people, but the group dynamic is just a little bit weird for me. Now, one of my friends and fellow YouTubers who has been successful in adult exploits in their life before told me flat out that this whole situation was not going to work, that joining this chat was not going to lead me anywhere. And they were right, and I kind of found out the hard way. So like a comic book villain, I have been foiled once again in my attempt to lose my V-card. Also, I am definitely not an incel. That is an absolutely toxic community. They are misogynistic and homophobic and self-loathing and just overall gross. So what do you think? Is there actually somebody out there in the known universe who is willing to relieve me of my V-card? Or will I be foiled for the rest of my life? Also, sorry about the little break in content. We've been doing this here for 6.5 years, and a couple times a year we just have to take a break to avoid burnout and come out with new ideas. We'll have another video coming up next weekend, and then we'll be at MFF the weekend after that, and of course, after that will be the MFF video. And I promise it'll be better than ever. So whether you lost your V-card long ago, or it's still stuck to you like a band-aid that won't come off, you have yourself a great week, and we'll see you next time. Later.